Hi everybody, it's me, Faye, and this is probably going to be the most controversial video I've ever, well, not ever made, because I do some controversial videos, but this is going to probably be the one that a lot of people are going to say, oh, she did go there, okay? So here's what I'm going to talk about today. I am going to talk about the fact that there's been a lot of conversation and a lot of, I don't know who started it, that black women and black people, especially black women, have not been out on the front lines of these demonstrations against ICE, and that we have been kind of sitting back passively. Well, we haven't exactly been sitting back passively. We've been watching these videos, and I mean these videos, and we know what happened, and we know what happened to Renee Good. We're very aware of it. But we are also at the position that we understand exactly why all of this is happening. And that's not a very pretty, shall we say, subject. You see, a lot of this is, I guess you would say, it is stuff that could have been avoided because we tried to warn you. Black people tried to warn you. We tried to warn you all through 2024. We told you what was going to happen if the current occupant of the Oval Office, I like to call him coup, was reelected. And instead, nobody seemed to believe us. Uh, what you have right now is you have their Birmingham, their Montgomery, their Selma, their Edmund Pettus Bridge, their Jimmy Lee Jackson. And I just want you to think about that for a moment. Um, During the past election, we had Coup telling everybody that if he was elected, he was going to do the largest mass deportation of what he considered to be illegal immigrants in the history of this country. And he also told you that he would like to be a dictator, or he said a dictator for a day. But we all know, once you get that power, you ain't willing to give it up. So, with that said, he, he got elected. And the amazing thing about it was that you had Cubans, you had Venezuelans, you had Hondurans, you had all of them doing ads for him, talking about how one lady was singing about how much she loved Donald Trump. I understand she was one of the first ones. I don't know if she got deported or not, but I understand she might be either deported or pending deportation. We also had Somalis and others in Michigan who came out with statements that they were going to support Donald Trump because he promised them this and he promised them that. Well, we all know that the man was a pathological liar, so even if he put it in writing, we knew it was not going to happen. But they still voted for him. And then we have to get to white women. White women, they were running around saying, oh, we can't support him because they've done away with Roe v. Wade and all of these other things. But statistics show that white women voted for him overwhelmingly. So, like I said, this is not the problem of black people. And do not be confused. We are not weak and we are not passive. We are just saying there are some things that we're not going to get involved in mass because we know once we get involved in it in mass, if you think it's violent now, wait till they see a lot of black faces out there. Oh, we've been down this road before, and it's not a pretty road. You're just beginning to see the evilness that's existing within ICE. Uh, I can tell you that ICE is one of the most poorly trained law enforcement agencies there is. And I can tell you that they feel emboldened by the fact that we have this cowboy shoot 'em up, bang bang mentality in the State Department, in the Defense Department, and coming from the Oval Office. I've lived in this country all of my life, and as most of you can tell, I've got some age on me. I believe a woman that tells her age will tell anything. I will tell you that I am somewhere between Oprah Winfrey and Diana Ross and Patti LaBelle, okay? And I'm not ashamed to admit that, okay? I'm just not going to tell you which one I'm closer to. Uh, but I have spent my entire life living in the United States. And there has never been a time since I was about maybe 9 years old that I felt welcome or that I felt safe in the United States. And that safety is safety from really from the government and from the repressions of the government. Uh, Black people, the reason why we're looking at this the way we're looking at it, many of us, is because we know that we have been in this country, well, we were here before 1619. In fact, when the native population saw us coming in shackles, they knew we had been here before. They had traded with us. But anyway, our people first got here enslaved in 1619. For almost over 250 years, we remained enslaved. We built this country. We made this country what it is. There is no dispute that slaves built Washington, D.C. There's no dispute that Washington was actually laid out by a black man. Most of those buildings you see that are still standing to this day in D.C. were built by slaves. Yet, when we were, quote, emancipated, it took a year for word to get to Texas for them to tell people. That's why we celebrate Juneteenth. But when we were emancipated, for a couple of years, we were showing great progress. And the first thing we did was we got away from the plantation. We built our own cities, the whole 9 yards. That's a story for another video. But in those years, since we were emancipated, we have had to fight just to get the same rights as white citizens. We had to fight to be able to sit wherever we wanted to sit, wherever there was a vacant seat on a bus, even though we paid the same amount. We had to fight to make sure that our children got a proper education, and often that they went to the school closest to their home. We've had to fight for equal housing, the ability to live wherever you wanted to live, the ability to receive loans, just everything that human beings are entitled to has been a fight for black people. So while this country is celebrating 250 years of their freedom and their independence, we as black people, we are still fighting. So we're not going to abandon what we've got to go and fight something that we told you was going to happen. It's sort of like the child that you tell. You tell somebody, put your hand in fire. You tell an adult, if you put your hand in fire, you're going to get burned. And they put their hand in fire and they get burned. You're going to feel sorry for them. You're going to even maybe pray that they heal well. But you're going to remember that you warned them. And that's what we did. We warned you. So that's it. Now, I will tell you one thing I've noticed. They have adopted many of our civil rights tactics from the 60s and 50s, 60s, and 70s, okay? And even taking some of our slogans, because, you know, we were the ones who started the whose streets, our streets, okay? We created that. But like everything else, it's been taken. So anyway, here's what I'm saying. Do not be dismayed or misled to think that we are not watching what's going on and we are not concerned about it. But what we are doing is we are preparing. We are preparing for when it tries to come our way. Because we know there's going to be nobody. It's going to be a very, very minute number of people that aren't black that are going to come our way. So, like I said, I understand the situation. I understand that ICE is the most dangerous organization since the Nazis. They are right there with the Klan. And by the way, when you look at the way ICE is acting, you know, they're riding around with these masks on, jumping out of these unmarked cars that don't belong to them. That kind of reminds you of the Klan. But that's a story for a different day. So like I said, do not be dismayed. It's not that black folks are scared. It's not that we don't see what's going on. It's that we are preparing for when it comes our way. So y'all have a good day. And, you know, I always forget. I keep always putting these little notes down. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to, like this video. And don't forget to, there's a button here that says notifications or something like that. Don't forget to mark it too. Anyway, y'all have a good day. And remember, we do understand what's going on. And by the way, if you think that we don't, I always tell people this. When Trevor Noah, because I can quote him because it's out there and you can pull the tape. When Trevor Noah did his last show, Trevor Noah thanked black women. And he said, in so many words, because I got to paraphrase, I don't know exactly how the exact words, he said, if you want it resolved, ask a black woman. Because black women, we know how to handle situations. Black women, we know how to take $1 and spend it like 20 and probably have some change left over. So anyway, like I said, somewhere up here there's a like, somewhere there's a subscribe, and somewhere there's a place for comments. I don't care if you leave bad comments, because trust me, I've had some. Like I like to tell people, I got put off the White House lawn back in the day before they put all these fences and everything. That's how long I've been protesting, ever since you could drive down Pennsylvania Avenue. But anyway, y'all have a blessed day. And like I said, comment, like, and subscribe. Bye for now.